My name is Matt Kelly of the Horror Movie Night podcast. I know I'm the main reason why you all came here, but I did have a couple friends that decided to join me from Hocus Pocus. So I thought maybe they'd join us and introduce themselves real quick. And then we've got a mic in the back for Q&A. We're going to talk a little bit up here, but if you have questions, start lining up in that mic in the middle area, and we can start throwing to you in like maybe 10 minutes.
Testing.
We won't be able to see you.
Testing.
So bright.
Yeah, no, it is like staring into an eclipse right here, but it's very exciting.
Are you calling us an eclipse?
I'm calling the lights an
Oh.
eclipse.
You're so bright. Got our shades.
That is true. Oh my God, it's like looking at the stars. So, let's introduce each other real quick. I did my job. I'm Matt.
I'm Matt.
Hi.
Phone on silent. How's that?
Okay, I'm Vanessa. I play Allison in the movie. You may have seen that.
Omri Katz, Max Dennison. And other things. Marshall Teller.
Yeah,
Stan from Matinee.
Yeah.
John Ross Ewing III from Dallas.
Apparently Allison has a last name and I've forgotten it, but super fans may know it.
Anyone know her last name?
Allison, last name.
Shaw. Yeah.
You guys.
Allison Yabo's
Allison Yabo.
definitely her nickname.
Swimmy.
I just go by Yabos.
Well, Jason, thank you for breaking the tension with that, because I want to jump into the first question. What did you think when you saw the word Yabos in the script that was describing you?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said Jason.
You did say
Well,
Jason.
Jason broke the tension by mentioning Yabos, so.
What's going on with your Yabos now?
I'm 47, that's what's going on.
No. I don't even remember that in the script, actually. Do you remember in the script?
Is that just a Thora riff?
You're asking me if I remember the script. By heart, every line, every single
Yeah,
detail.
actually, I really don't remember it being in the script, and I don't think it was a riff by Thor either. But I do remember that moment. A fan was asking if we cracked up during that part of the shooting of that scene. I said, I think during the rehearsal, because Thora Birch is so precocious and funny. She just, all the time I would laugh at everything she'd say, and she's like, what's so funny? So anyway, no, I don't remember it. Maybe
All right.
I blocked it out.
It's buried it deep down. And Jason, you still haven't officially introduced yourself, but.
Hi, I'm Elijah Wood. You've seen me in all the Lord of the Rings movies. I had a cameo in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
No, I'm Jason Marsden, voice of Thackeray Binks. Hello, everybody. There are no virgins in the audience, I hope. Make sure you cash in that V card before All Hallows Eve. This makes my life a whole lot easier. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So while we're
Remember
waiting
that
for.
line in the movie?
So while we're waiting for people to line up for the Q&A portion of this, I do have to ask, I saw this movie in theaters, which I later found out was a rarity. The movie was kind of just like a modest hit at the time, and I think part of it was they were releasing a Halloween movie in July, which was a weird call, but over years it became this massive thing. Do you remember when you realized that the movie had really taken this whole second life with the fans who found it on tape and on cable?
I really feel like someone should actually put in the research and do it, because it is it's hard for us to really recall, but I feel like it was probably a combination of a couple things. One being the people that watched it in the theater, like you and all of us here, started having kids and then showed them the movie, and that's when it started to kind of have a groundswell from there. Also compounded with Disney Channel coming out, as well as ABC Family, which became Freeform. So I feel like you could watch it anytime, and I think that's probably what most movies are experiencing. Like streaming just brings popularity back to everything, and a channel dedicated to children's movies, of course. You're gonna show it, and now it's every day of October too.
Oh yeah,
31 days.
Freeform's 31 Days of Halloween should just be called the 31 Days of Hocus Pocus, because it is every day.
Every day, yeah. At least once a day.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Because it's kind of head scratching.
I can't pinpoint. It's like, watching your child get older, you can't pinpoint exactly how consciousness changes. I just remember people mentioning it every year. It just kind of got bigger and bigger. Going to stores, you'd see Hocus Pocus merchandise kind of pop up and get greater. I guess I kind of measure it by how many people send me pictures of their televisions every October. Like, look what I'm watching.
Me too.
Yeah.
You get that the most. I never get people taking pictures of their TV.
It's just their TV. Look what I'm watching right now.
Yeah. Guess what I'm watching right now? Like, take a few guesses.
Is it Eerie, Indiana?
During October, totally Eerie, Indiana is my first guess.
Yeah, that's on 31 Days on Freeform.
On
It's
Disney
just
Plus.
the reruns
Such
of
a good
Eerie,
show,
Indiana.
Eerie,
It
Indiana.
was.
Oh, thank you.
Any Eerie Indiana fans in the house?
I was a fan before I met this kid.
It was. That was
Same.
from like the weird. Eerie, Indiana was from that weird time where kids television. It was like that and Pete, where they were just so out there for a kid's show to be on television.
Well, better weird than canceled. But
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
we did
That's
both.
what
Unfortunately,
happened.
unfortunately, both of those
That's what
were-
happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like Twin Peaks
Canceled,
for kids.
yeah,
It was such a
same
strange
thing.
show.
It was. It was like Tom Sawyer meets Twin Peaks.
Yeah. It was very little bit of X-Files. It was great, but we're not here for your Indiana, unfortunately. We are here to talk about Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Again, microphones up there for any of the Q&As. I'm sure that you all have cues that you wish that they will A. So, in the meantime, do you have a favorite memory or moment from set? Maybe even just a line read that has like sat with you for decades now.
Not necessarily. I just kind of feel like anytime we got to work in the Sanderson house, because that set was just amazing. It was
Yeah.
all hand built, all like, no movable walls. It was just a solid, amazing set. And anytime we got to work in there was, I feel like, the most exciting for me personally. So.
All right.
Me too. I mean,
Anyone else?
I hate saying this because people are like, what's the specific one? And I'm like, is it okay if I say every day that I went into work, it was so much fun? Because I grew up watching Disney movies, and for me to be in a Disney movie just blew my mind. And again, as Omri is saying, this set was impeccable. Like you had, when you walked in, it was the whole bit of, the area surrounding the Sanderson Sister's house. Like it was the river and the water mill, and Billy the Butcher's grave was in the corner, like far over in the corner, and then the gate to the graveyard was in another part. I mean, those are just the major pieces of the movie were in that one soundstage, and I think maybe your room was in 2 or 3. So there was soundstage 2 and soundstage 3. I think 3 was like his house.
Or the interior, obviously.
The interior, yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like going into the Sanderson Sisters' house and being in there, like my favorite part of shooting that movie was the scene when you bring back the witches. Thanks. But like every bit, you don't see that anymore in movies where you are literally having practical effects. The CGI is what you have to imagine, the floor moving and the wind blowing, and it's basically all that was happening, and the green light in the ground. And I think if I recall, Kenny was just yelling, bam, lights, blam, lights, and then the lights were going out, but everything else was there. Like the sound of, and just the wind blowing and the floors moving and the green lights flashing in your eyes made you feel like you were in the moment. And you don't get to feel like that anymore as an actor. You really have to portray that you feel a moment more nowadays. So it was like a pleasure for me to experience something real in a scene versus imagining it.
Just something real to react off
Yeah.
of, yes. Well, I did get to visit the set once before I was cast. I don't know if you all realize it wasn't me in the beginning.
Yeah.
As a boy, it's the amazing
Was it?
Sean Murray.
He just turned brunette all of a sudden.
Yes.
And
Shrank
I just
about
thought-
3 feet.
I thought you got some work done to your face, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, work done and shrunk. But I was working on, I think it was Boy Meets World on the same lot, and I knew Omri and Vanessa, and I knew they were working on this movie, so I went on the set to check it out, and I was there when they were shooting that opening shot of Sarah Sanderson, that big wide shot, low angle of the cottage, and Sarah Sanderson arrives and runs in, and her cape kind of flows over the camera. I was there for that shot, and yeah, since it's in a soundstage, it's a very impressive set, inside, but it's outside. I don't know how they do that. Movie magic. And I was there watching you guys in a car, like a portion of a car, being chased by Winifred. To my surprise, was actually bet on wires. I thought she'd have a stunt person.
I remember that.
It was amazing.
Kind of crashing in the car. Yeah. But that's the only couple of times I was there. But that was before I even worked on the movie.
Yeah.
Just crashing. Seeing what was up.
Well, I mean, you brought
Boy Meets
up...
World was on that lot?
Mhm.
I thought it was Home Improvement.
But both of them. Yeah.
Home Improvement was.
Oh, okay. Wow. What a time. Home Improvement.
No,
Huh?
what was the one? Hello? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was somebody else.
Yeah. So you
This
did
is
bring
how
up...
we are all the time. Just,
You brought up
we
Bette
love
Midler,
each
so
other,
it
but
is...
sorry, now you're included in the comment.
You brought up Bette Midler. It is worth asking, like, you hear these stories of making these types of movies where it's kids being scared by witches or monsters, and sometimes the actors and actresses are like, oh, we never want to interact with the kids off set because we want them to, like, buy our character and be scared of us, but then other times they're very welcoming. How were all three of the actresses playing the Sanderson sisters? Did you get to spend time outside of filming with them, or was it very much like you pretty much met the Sanderson sisters, you didn't really meet Bette and Sarah and that?
Well, you have to remember we were actually 16 years old,
Yeah.
16-year-olds, and Thora was 9, so we were minors, and we had
She was 11.
only... Oh, she was? Oh, she's playing 9-year-old, sorry. Anyway, so...
Movie magic.
So, you know how to calculate, I don't. We were minors, so we only had 10 and a half hours of shooting that we could do. And so they had like 5 hours of makeup they had to do. So it was like barely ever did the two paths cross because they were, by the time we were done and they were ready, they were shooting and we were done. So there was we always had to imagine them in the sky. We weren't actually interacting except for a few handful of times, like her in the shot. If she's in the shot, or if I'm, doing the circle of salt, then they're there. But otherwise, we're just seeing them in the makeup trailer, which was fun because I saw Sarah Jessica and Kathy, and they would always ask me, "Do you like acting? Do you want to do it for the rest of your life?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting my idols." But what were you gonna say?
There was a TikTok that some young man did doing like a fun review of Hocus Pocus, and the shot of you throwing the salt around it, when it gets to you, he's like, "She didn't just throw it, she performed it." Yeah, he said, yes.
That was fully Kenny.
Was it?
It was, because I feel like he just amped up our performances a ton.
You're talking
Kenny
about who did
Ortega,
like the
the
High School Musical films, kind of choreographed you spilling salt. That just seems strange to me.
I mean, that's
Yes.
his background. He was a choreographer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
he always wanted to bring that kind of animation out of us in order to really, make it more theatrical.
Yeah,
You look at
we were
his
all
resume
very
and there
chill.
literally couldn't be a better person to do Hocus Pocus, honestly. Like pulling from like his background in musicals and his background in Gilmore Girls, and then you combine that into like Hocus Pocus, and it's just this perfect New England choreographed, very theatrical movie. It's brilliant.
You can tell the witches are kind of moving in sync at some points, and there is a music to the way that they're working off of each other.
Yeah, they had a choreographer for that too.
I love it. I love it.
It's actually shocking that with the way that we're turning every film franchise into a Broadway musical, I'm shocked that there isn't like a
I know.
Hocus Pocus musical.
Just wait. It'll happen.
It'll probably happen after this.
If you're listening, Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can address the elephant in the room too. We're just a month away from Hocus Pocus 2. I have actively avoided anything about it, but are you all involved in Hocus Pocus 2?
I guess you're gonna have to wait and find out.
Oh.
No, we're
That's
not.
such a Max Dennis.
No, I've already made a public statement that I actually got in trouble.
You were saying.
Really?
Yeah, my agent called me, which was awesome, because when she calls me, it usually means I booked something, but she's like, "So, TMZ wants to know if you're gonna be in the next Hocus Pocus movie." I was like, "No." She's like, "Okay, thanks." And then, like, immediately afterwards, they made it sound so dramatic. Jason Marsden says he will not return for Hocus Pocus 2. Like it was up to me. And then I got a lot of messages on Instagram, so I made a video being like, hey, my agent said that this, but it's not. I'm happy. No one asked me. It's why would they? Binks is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you retcon Binks back into the movie at this point?
Sure.
I mean, anything's possible then.
Yeah, it's true. It is magic.
Yeah.
It's that in the table of contents in the glossary in the back of the book.
Yeah, it's like if they come back, everything's
Exactly,
reversed.
Binks back.
Sure.
Again.
Yeah.
But I've seen the trailer. I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks sinister, and I think it holds to what I want for a sequel for this so many years later. And I think it'll be fine with or without us. I think it'll be just fine. It's all about the gals, I think.
Yeah, I think we all want to see them again.
Yeah, for real.
We've been waiting patiently to see them again, so
Yes.
it's about
It's like a
time.
month away, right?
Yeah, September 30th.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
exactly
my
a month
paycheck
away.
from Disney Plus. Do we have any questions lining up with the microphone just yet? I literally cannot see. So, okay, there we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I sort of suggested or requested this of Vanessa earlier, but I wanted to throw it out to the rest of you. There seems to be a real lack of bonus features along with the movie. We'd really like to see a lot more behind the scenes footage or interviews about an example of what you're doing today. I was wondering if you guys would ever think about getting together just on your own, have popcorn, watch the movie, and record a commentary track.
Sure.
I thought that'd be
I'm down.
a really good
I
idea.
think it's a really good idea.
Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion.
Yes.
I feel like bouncing off of that, when I saw the movie in theaters, and I don't remember the details now, but I remember that there was a ton of stuff in the trailer that's not in the movie. That like in the moment that I was sitting there watching, was there a lot of stuff that you remember filming that like when you look back at the movie, you're like, where did that scene go?
No.
Personally, I don't. I mean, we're talking 30 years ago, so
Yeah, come on, think.
lots of
No,
brain
there-
cells gone.
I think there must have been like bus driver stuff taken out, stuff like that.
Okay.
It'd be interesting.
None of our stuff.
It would
Well,
be
you guys were
interesting to
gold
see
in every
the-
scene. They didn't need to. It was those amateurs that were playing the Sandersons that were messing up scenes. You guys were in there.
Yeah, but it would be cool to like go to the
Dig
cutting
it up.
room floor and see bloopers from like those times.
Sure.
I'm kind of curious because
It's definitely the most beloved film that has the least amount of special features on any
It's
release,
true,
I think.
it's true. And there, obviously, because people told me, I hadn't seen it, but people told me on the 25th anniversary that there are the behind-the-scenes
Okay.
footage that's on there.
on the DVD or
the
the,
DVD,
the
it's a
special
bonus.
edition,
Yeah.
something,
Something like, right?
something like that.
Just a little bit.
I don't know. I think Disney.
I should
just-
ask my mom. My mom was
Yeah.
videoing so much, like even Thor's mom's like, you should put that together, because literally was she was documenting it.
Larry
Everything
Bagby,
there.
who played Ice, was
Yes.
actually videotaping some stuff behind the scenes. He put stuff on his Instagram. So to get all your behind the scenes footage and put it on,
I know, right?
submit it. I don't think Disney actually realizes still like what it. what
Or
it
maybe
is.
they do,
No,
and
I
they're
don't
like
think they do.
releasing it slowly
Maybe,
for
yeah.
marketing, more,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah,
Disney
you-
is a
you can think that
corporation,
way.
and
Yeah.
money is their number one priority. So,
Do we have another question up there?
Hi.
Sarah.
Hi.
Oh, it's Sarah. Oh,
Hello.
no.
Sarah.
I want to know, does Binks like belly rubs?
Does Binks like belly rub? Who doesn't? I was once a boy, you know. I think I was about, see if I remember correctly, I was about 13, 14. We were going through puberty before it turned me into a cat. Yes, I'm sure I like lots of rubs.
Thank you.
And scene.
TMI.
No wonder I haven't been invited back for the sequel.
It's in your rider.
All right, we got another question up
Needs
there?
rubs.
Yeah, I was wondering, for this movie being a Disney film, after you think you killed off the Sanderson sisters, you kind of start celebrating, and there's a little bit of a scene where you're seen running across the fountain from Friends,
Yeah.
and then you see Max Dennison and Binks are talking, and you're a fence post, and if you look carefully, you see the Griswold's house in the background. So it's like, why did the Disney film end up on a Warner Brothers lot? Do you know the why? Was it reshoots?
You know,
I
they,
don't know why they make deals
Warner-
like that.
well, no, Warner Brothers had actual locations. Disney only had studios. I mean, sound stages.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers had like literally streets of houses, that are famous houses that you've all seen, exterior wise, and even that, obviously that lawn
Yeah.
was famous afterwards. Like Friends came out after Hocus Pocus.
So you're like the original.
So we didn't even know that, and we didn't know the Griswolds were there either. So
It's not
First
uncommon
I've
for a
heard.
studio to visit other studios because of their, whatever they have available. Yeah, Disney only had soundstage. They had a backlot for a second. I think Newsies was like the last time they used that backlot, and then they tore it
yeah.
down. But Warner Brothers and
That's right.
Universal has a plethora of exteriors. They can
And
use.
20th
yeah, I remember
century.
Clock
The
Tower,
20th century, yeah.
Back to the Future,
Back to
at
the Future Clock
Universal.
Tower, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Universal, yeah.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah.
We have someone else.
No, it's still Sarah.
Sarah's back.
Sarah, what other questions you ask?
Binks, I want to know how it was being a cat.
It's the crazy cat lady.
Did you like our spell?
What was that, Sarah?
Did you like our spell?
Did you like your? Do I like your spell?
Yeah, did you?
No, I'm heavily traumatized by this. 300 years I had to walk around to figure out how to talk. I figure how to get people to give me food, and waiting for some airhead virgin to light a candle so I can end this horrific story. No, extremely traumatic. But I do like belly rubs.
It's so good that we warmed Binks up later on in the movie. A little uptight. I guess 200 years will do that too.
300.
Oh, 300.
325 years, and now who's counting?
I have another question. Do you guys have any kids?
Yes, I do. And he does.
Can I have them?
You
I think
must
she
sing a
wrote a
song
tight
first.
5.
I
Sing
put
your
a
song,
spell on
maybe.
you, and now you're mine. I forget the rest.
You gotta sing Come Little Children. That's your song, lady.
Yes.
Lady.
I mean,
She's like,
so
I'm
now that
teasing.
the kids question has been breached, have your kids seen Hocus Pocus, and what do they think about it being your voice and you in
I
it?
think my son has seen it once, and he is not nearly as impressed as you guys. I'm his dad. That's who I am. I'm not. I annoy him, and that's about it. That's about it. Your son is way too young. to
He's
see
too
this.
young. I was telling someone he saw Lightyear with his grandmother this year, and he was scared. So I'm like, maybe not Hocus Pocus.
But he has
So-
seen Eyes Wide Shut, which is I think is a terrible way to introduce him into your work, Vanessa.
I mean, Hocus Pocus, even for 1993, was a pretty shockingly dark movie for a kids'
right?
film.
Yes.
It's that Mick
That's why I
Garris
loved it.
writing.
Yes. Yes.
Did you know that it was originally even darker
Yeah.
written?
No.
So they,
Can we talk
they
about that
upped
for a
up the comedy for it, obviously appropriately so for the three witches who have comedic timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original script, I don't know if, I'm not gonna ask him, but it was darker. It was darker, and now, and then when we were about to shoot, it was just a whole different script. It's amazing.
Just a massacre across Salem, dead bodies everywhere.
No, it was just like the witches were scarier, probably longer in the tooth, even more.
Well, and you were saying that because of the shooting schedule, you really didn't get to spend too much time with the Sanderson sisters, but you did get to spend a lot of time with Doug Jones, really before Doug Jones was Doug Jones.
Yeah.
This was such an early thing in his career. What was Doug like on set? I know that I've met Doug before, and he is quite literally the loveliest human being you could possibly meet.
I think he's the worst human being
That is-
ever walked the earth. He's the meanest person I've ever met. He's so difficult to work with. Oh my God. Don't even get me started.
If you have a chance to get hugged by Doug Jones, you should take it. I heard someone once tell me it's like being hugged by a spider, and that is the exact way to describe it.
He's literally like in my top 5 of best humans I've ever met.
Yeah.
Yes, he has been the same.
Yeah.
Literally, he was.
I love that guy.
We
For
were
life.
basically many years younger than him. Back when we were 16, he's 30. He's so old.
He showed up, and you were like, "It's Mac tonight, guys." Look.
I know. I did not know that he sang that until
Here's the
like
Mac.
3 years ago. I love Mac the Night. Yeah, no, he on set was so embracing and loving and so fun and funny and super gangly as he is still to this day. So he would just kind of cut up and do like robots every now and then. And
He's a contortionist. That guy can
yeah.
fit, well, at least used to, I don't know about nowadays, but he could literally fit into like a 2x2 box.
yeah,
And he's like
he showed us
6'5"?
that. Yeah,
Was he like 6'5"? Like,
something like
he's-
that.
it's
He was
crazy.
a former mime too. Yeah,
There's nobody like him anymore. He's just
No.
amazing.
Movement
No.
specialist.
In
also.
personality and in his ways he can contort his body.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Plus, I mean, he can talk. I mean, he's a gifted, speaking actor. I think that
Yes.
in Hellboy, I think he was disappointed he was Abe Sapien, correct?
Yep.
Yes, and he did the movements, and David had Pierce do his voice, and I think this manager got upset and said, no, he can act just as well, and worked in the contract so Doug got to be the speaking voice for Abe as
I love
well.
that story.
Yeah, much deserved. Yeah, very gifted. And then I believe he says that when Billy gets his mouth cut open and he spews all the insults to Winifred, that was his ad lib.
Nice.
Oh, and the moths were real.
The moths
The
were real,
moths
yes.
are real. They're in a trap inside his mouth,
Gnarly,
which is
huh?
crazy.
Yeah.
Talk about more practical effects. That would be frightening for me.
I think I
Put
see
some
some
on.
people up there. Let's jump to another question.
Oh, got more questions.
Binks, your thoughts on
Oh my god.
Yes, he likes belly rubs.
Do you guys want to go pick up your sandwiches for a little bit?
Yeah. We'll be over here. Just let us know.
Quiet,
if you have
everyone.
questions
I'm
for
being
us.
interviewed. Yes, yes, young man.
Your thoughts on Catnip?
My thoughts on Catnip. I love it. 300 years. You need to imbibe in some sort. I've tried all sorts of things. Catnip is very wonderful. It keeps me relaxed. Yes, I love it. It's yes, mod thing, yes. Before all your marijuana. Yes.
I mean, if we're just throwing out fantasy ideas for a better Blu-ray special feature, I want a Binks commentary track. Just Binks' perspective of the movie and character.
You
We got
can
another question
narrate
up there?
anything, Binks.
Can you is this a question for the cat or the cast real quick?
No, this is a question for the cat.
Okay.
It's
For the
okay
cat,
if
you
it's
said
for
it.
the
Yeah, we
cat.
just need to
No,
know who
please.
needs
I'm
to be
enjoying his
character.
answers. No one ever asks him any questions.
Don't worry, I got y'all. Were there any souvenirs or things on set that you guys were able to take home, or was there anything that you wished that you guys were able to take from set as like a memory from the movie?
Oh, I do.
Against
I
the
wish I
bulk.
kept the red cape.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was tailored to me. I don't know if I was offered it or I'd said no, but for some reason I just have a memory of me saying no. I didn't want it, which is weird, because it's such an iconic piece of, costume history. But I was able to keep my earrings. There's this little like antique earrings that Allison wears, and I got to keep those.
Awesome.
I got to keep one of them. Well, I got to keep the green bike.
Should have taken the candle.
What's that?
You should have taken the candle.
Should have. Didn't really light a black flame. That was all movie magic.
Yeah,
And
that was not real.
recently, I was digging in my dad's garage because he's like, "Oh, I have all this stuff here that I collected over the years," and I have the tie dye I was wearing, which is kind of cool. I was like, "Hey,
You should be bringing that to conventions.
I actually am starting to do that.
Nice.
This is an original shirt from the time we were filming Eerie, Indiana,
Nice.
and it's in pristine condition. So, same with the tie
Oh,
dye.
is this what he found too?
Yeah,
Amazing.
all kinds of stuff.
Also, kudos for still being able to fit into them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
mean-
so much.
Jason, you were in a sound booth for most of your stuff, but did you get a chance to take anything from
I
set
took
as
all
well?
the equipment and the microphones.
Yes.
No,
And the script.
the script. I should have taken the script.
I
Right.
have
Wish
a call sheet
I might have.
actually as well,
Ah, okay.
and the script. My mom saved it,
Nice,
so
nice, nice.
yeah,
I have to do
that's
some more
actually very
digging,
precious.
but I might have one of those.
I'm sure your dad saved it.
Yeah.
Your dad and my mom were very.
He's a hoarder, so.
It looks like Sarah might be back.
I have one last question. Binks, what is your opinion on Red Dot?
My
Binks.
opinion on Red Dot.
Like the tiny little laser red dot?
Oh, I thought you meant that.
You chase lasers, basically.
the grocery delivery service. I love that too.
That was Pink Dot.
That was Pink Dot, oh yes. Well, about 150 years ago it was Red Dot.
It faded over
It
time.
was left in the sun too long and it became Pink Dot. Much older than you, boy. Still have word. Need to have
True
word.
historian.
Those are extremely annoying. It's there, then it's not there, then it's up on the ceiling, then it's up on the couch. I can't, and I grab it and I can't actually feel it. Yes, it's very, very annoying. Dirty trick you humans do to us cats.
I'm not a human.
All right, I see
I
someone else.
remember.
There's another woman.
Any more questions?
Do you guys ever meet pets that are named after you?
Yeah, I meet pets named Omri all the time.
Characters,
It's very common pet name. That's actually where my parents got the name. Our dog was named Omri, and they're like, what's the name of Omri? So, yes, to answer your question.
you other characters, whichever. Do you ever meet any of them though?
Not for me. No one wants to name any of their pets Alice. I've heard
Allie the cat?
Danny, of course.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
Danny
Every
Binks.
show I go to, there's definitely like a handful of people who come up to me and say, "Oh, we named our black cat Binks," and I have this in my imagination. I picture a neighborhood, and all the cats are getting together, and they're like, "Oh, there's a new guy. Hey, what's your name? Binks? Say what? That's my name. What? That's my name. What? That's my name.
I had a
It's
ginger
like a black cat gang.
Binks!" And like 12 cats running down the driveway.
I gave my cat the middle name Banks. He was a ginger tabby.
What's his first name?
Thaddeus. He passed.
Thaddeus Binks. Oh,
Yep.
Rest well, Binks.
Thank you.
People may not have named their cat Allison, but I bet money someone named their cat Yabos.
Yeah.
Almost guarantee it. Is there another question up there?
We got another question.
Do you guys have any hobbies outside of acting?
Oh, you have my problem. Stick out on your toes and speak in the mic. There you go.
Do you guys have any hobbies outside of acting?
Any hobbies outside of acting?
Many.
Omri, what do you got?
Oh, I mean, hobbies-wise, I love board sports. I love the great outdoors. That's kind of my thing. That's what I do for hobbies. And I don't know, I'm working on a company right now that's not really a hobby, I guess. It's kind of more of a passion and a pursuit, so yeah. Next.
I will indulge in anything my son loves. So bicycling, hiking, yeah, basically any of that. Listening to music, it's great. I enjoy any time with him.
I'm like one of those jack of all trades, master of none. I like play guitar awful. I play drums awful. I make sourdough bread. I can make macarons. I bake a little bit.
I can make sourdough too.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yes. Yeah. I've made T-shirts. I mean, I'm just always like, in exploring different things. It changes, with the seasons. Yeah. How about you guys? A lot of hobbies?
No?
No?
Oh, okay.
We got a thumbs up.
I got thumbs up. Yeah. Excellent.
Does the other one have a question, or is she just there for moral support?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What is your favorite scene in the movie?
I think I already said mine, but what is your favorite scene?
I don't have one. I'm sorry.
Is that when you're killing it on that drum set in your bedroom?
There you go. Yeah. Playing the drums. There you go. In my bedroom. That was my favorite scene.
I love the musical number. I'm a sucker for musical numbers. So when she
Yes.
sings, I put a spell on you.
You know what, that one was
And
really
that
good.
took 2 days to shoot that one?
Really?
It was
At least.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just as magical and just as fun as it is on screen. It was just loud, boisterous the whole time, and I'm sure everyone in the audience had some sort of connection to Kenny, some sort of dance background, because they were all just fabulous and embodying every character they were. So, because everyone dressed up as something.
And if I recall, I don't think it was in playback. I think it was all played live. So that band was a real band
Nice.
playing the music, not recording of them and, mocking them playing.
Yeah, that's what was so exciting.
What's your favorite scene?
The one
one where they fly away on the mop, the broom, and the vacuum.
It's pretty cool. Cool to watch that being filmed too, because that was, like Vanessa said earlier, all done physically, not necessarily with. They did some green screen stuff, but most of it was done on the sound stage with like wires, harnesses, pulleys, and just dragging these witches back and forth, and it was like live action. It was pretty awesome. Movie magic's pretty cool.
Yeah, and how they had to do it multiple times, sometimes not getting in between. So
Yeah, those harnesses.
And harnesses in general, and then having to wield something. It was not as easy as it looked, so they did a great job.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, both of those questions.
So I have a question that I'd like to ask any actors. Oh, there's more. Oh, wow. Oh, man, there's more lining up. Go ahead.
Hey guys, we wanted to know what is your favorite and least favorite roles you've ever been in before?
You know, it changes all the time. It's like picking your favorite and your worst child, I suppose. But I only have one, but he's always my favorite.
And your worst.
And your worst. He's my worst and favorite at the same time.
One of my favorite, and I'm so pleased he wore the shirt. One of my favorite experiences I ever had was working on Eerie, Indiana. I love talking about it. It was like making little Twilight Zone movies, and we worked with some great filmmakers and actors. I learned a lot in that process. And I think the worst thing, this is going to sound awful because it was such a good gig, but trust me, it got a little tiresome. I was the voice for Disney Channel for a little while. Coming up next, it's this, followed by that. Only on, no, it was Toon Disney. But I tell you, when you have to enthusiastically plug something for 4 hours, it can get old real quick. And I was doing it for months on end, and I think enthusiastically got myself into a depression. It was not fun after a while, so I removed myself from that situation.
Well, this movie ranks really top in my favorite characters I've played, and but the tippy top is Eyes Wide Shut, because it changed my perspective of acting. Growing up as a kid actor, you think there's one way of acting because you just really have to perform now and not waste any time. You have to be kind of a perfectionist, so that allowed me to not be a perfectionist and just play around, which was so fun because I just discovered a new way of being as an actor. And of course, Stanley Kubrick and that movie and just everything, it was just, he just believed in me and thought I was going to do great things, and so he was kind of like a mentor to me in my life. So that is one of my top favorite experiences. And then I feel bad saying this, but I think we were too sensitive because we know how hard it is to make a movie, and the least favorite experience is not necessarily having to do with the people involved. Sometimes it's like the money people involved, or people behind the scenes that are making it difficult, or even like one of the main actors. So there's kind of a bit of things happening in this movie that really didn't do well, called Stagnate, but I got to visit Bulgaria, but there were a lot of accidents that were happening. People weren't protecting. We had to be running in underground, basically in a subway, and some of the railway was missing, and people fell and like hurt themselves. It just was scary to me. And then I did not like, but this is just more funny than terrible, but I did not like the fact that I had to have a scene where cockroaches were crawling all over me, and then it was hundreds and hundreds of cockroaches, and wow, I did not know I had a fear of cockroaches until that movie, and I was just, I think I had to have detox afterwards or something.
Still in therapy.
I really am. I just am a West Coast girl. Like, I didn't grow up with them in the streets of New York or anything, so I was just like, oh my God. So anyway, these were trained cockroaches to crawl over me at a certain point and crawl over my body. So that was my least favorite thing. But
they crawl on your face?
Yeah, on my face. But I'm like, how do you train these freaking cockroaches? But anyway, but thankfully all of us survived in whatever way, me emotionally, some people physically, and I am closer to some of the actors on that movie because of it, but because we bonded over it. But anyway,
trauma will do that.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I'm lucky to have worked on so many great movies with so many people, and whatever difficulty it was, it's just something that's a faded memory now. So yeah.
I kind of feel like what I can remember. From what I can remember, I feel like the characters I played in most things that I did were basically just an extension of myself. So I never felt like it was something that was the worst that I did. I mean, each experience was different given the scenario that I was placed in, but I just kind of felt like I was playing myself. So I don't really have like a best or worst gig. I feel like everything I did was just super fun. It almost never seemed like work. It just seemed like playing around, you know, doing my thing. I think the worst thing for me always was just having to like learn lines and practice prior to, because I just wanted to be a kid and go out and skateboard, play basketball and do stuff like that. And then it's like, no, you gotta sit here and like, you gotta learn your 10 pages of lines and monologues and whatever. I was like, God darn it, this is not what I want to do. But yeah, I don't really have I never had a bad experience, personally.
Yeah,
So
we're
lucky for me.
Someone's got to pour cockroaches on you, and then
Sure. I didn't even like, you know, I never even worked with who might be considered like difficult actors. Like I never got that experience either. Just seemed like everything was always flowing. Maybe it was just my
His timing,
zenful,
your
amazing energy that just brought the, you know.
or maybe you were the
present.
difficult actor, and everyone else was like, "Oh my God."
You're right.
Steer clear of Omri.
I've been told that I'm a difficult person to deal with, so.
Nah, we love you over here.
Silence!
Do we have another question up there? Oh, they're all finished. Okay, there we go.
We got more people!
Hi.
Hello.
So Binks, no, I'm just kidding. This one's for you. Who is your favorite Sanderson sister?
Sarah.
I think for me, it's Sarah too, because I got to see her actually, because I'm hiding behind her in the line where she says, "Ooh, my lucky rat tail, just where I found it." And I just saw her practicing over and over again and just like in the mood and doing her Sarah-ness. And I just was like, she's pretty cool. And of course, I love her as a person too, Sarah Jessica. So yeah.
Oh, Sarah. Absolutely.
All right.
This is funny, interesting.
3 for Sarah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all right, we got about 5 minutes. Let's see how many we can get through. Next, speed round.
Oh yeah.
Speed round.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, next.
So difficult.
I was wondering how much of the movie was actually filmed in Salem?
About 2 weeks worth?
Yeah.
So out of
The
a
exterior.
4-month shoot?
It was a 3-month.
3 month, okay. 3 to 4 month shoot, 2 weeks were done in Salem.
Yeah. All the exteriors.
A lot of
pretty much.
exterior stuff, yeah.
The graveyard. Yeah, I mean, most people know more than we do what's shot there. They visited all the locations. I love it. Yeah, you have? Okay.
I've actually been there 8 times, and there's a tour where you guys were.
Yeah, that's what I hear. There's a tour, she's saying.
There's a Hocus Pocus tour in Salem now.
Yeah.
The high school's been turned
Yeah.
into a market.
I see a giant light, and there's a voice coming from somewhere where the light is.
There she is. Yeah. Hello.
Still can't see her.
There we go. I see.
All right, next question.
I'll be real quick, but I wanted to tell you that I work in a veterinary office, and every once in a while somebody will bring in a cat named Binks. So it really does happen, and also this has nothing to do with Hocus Pocus, but I just think it's interesting that both of you guys did TV series with Patrick Duffy.
Yeah.
And you also, Jason, worked with Sasha Mitchell.
Me too.
Who played the older brother of John Ross, so.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went, so I think
And I know Patrick Duffy.
And Jason and I worked on Eerie together.
Yeah.
But like, we're like
so
brothers
it's
from
unanimous.
another
Patrick Duffy's an amazing actor.
Patrick Duffy's awesome.
He's a great
Great
person.
guy.
Awesome.
Great person, hilarious.
He's
Yeah,
awesome.
love
Yes.
him so
Yeah.
much.
So when you guys want to do a Dallas panel, I'll be here all weekend.
How many of the Binkses that were brought into the vet were because they were hit by a bus and then reinflated themselves?
You know what? I work in an animal emergency vet and I see some stuff.
All right. Next.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping everyone with
Next.
their fur babies.
Absolutely.
For Binks.
I did hear now that because black cats were almost notoriously like unwanted to be adopted because of superstition, but now it seems to be the case thanks to Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, look at you, changing lives.
And the sexy voice. Yes, I'll take credit for that.
All right, next question.
Equality for all cats.
How often do you hear that you were, like, Hocus Pocus was the introduction to scary movies for kids?
Would you repeat that, please?
How often do you hear that Hocus Pocus was the introduction to scary movies as kids?
Oh, I don't really get told that directly, but it's pretty obvious when we see you guys come to our table and you have your kids with you and all of all ages. That it seems to be handed down from fan to fan.
I've heard that lately at these cons, for sure. That people start with Hocus Pocus and go from there. It's the gateway drug.
Sure. The gateway scary movie drug.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it definitely was for me because I was not a scary kid. I did not like scary movies.
And
I
did it
still
scare
don't
you?
like
Did
them.
Hocus Pocus scare you?
The first time, yes. After that, it was fine.
Yeah, it's downright sinister.
PGR.
Yeah.
PGR. PG/R.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
think we have time for 2 or 3 more. So if anybody's already in line, that's pretty much it.
The ladies are back. What's going on?
So, it's a question for Binks. Does he like wet food or dry food better?
He's a vegan.
Sometimes I take the rats and I dunk them in milk. Yes. Softens them.
Rats and milk. Sounds delicious. A
What
rat
is
milk?
your favorite horror movie character?
Favorite horror movie character?
Well, technically Wizard of Oz is a horror movie because I told you I'm too sensitive. I can't watch movies. But definitely The Wicked Witch of the West. My favorite.
I always like Stripe from Gremlins.
Nice.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Dante, great. I don't know. Kind of liked Pinhead from that and Pennywise. Something for scary clowns, you know.
I had to ask Jay what those were. Sorry. I am scared, seriously. I don't know
Hellraiser.
how I belong. Thanks for welcoming me.
Show your kid Hellraiser. I'm sure he won't be scared at all.
She'll be ready for Hocus Pocus after that. For sure.
Right.
Next.
Oh, I wanted to know what question you were gonna ask.
Oh, mine wasn't that important.
For
Close it
Jason,
with his question.
No, it's not that good.
I'm only
Well, it's a
here,
question for me.
it's a question for Binks. I'm only here because I love Full House. Was Bob Saget actually nice to work with, or is that just a rumor?
Bob Saget was an outstanding human being. He treated me like I was part of the cast. And I've never worked on a show where anyone went out of their way to include me in like dinners and outings, and he was hilarious and wrong in so many ways with his humor. And I'm so thankful I got to share space with him.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, someone's a good person because there's never someone who's not ready to say a bad thing about somebody, and you couldn't find a single person that had an unkind word about Bob when he passed.
No.
All right, last question up there.
All right, question for Vanessa. Real quick, what was it like working on a Hills Have Eyes remake?
Oh, it was amazing. I don't know if everybody knows this, but we shot in Morocco in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And so the actual hills, when lit up, were very spooky, amazing, and obviously a new entire culture that I'd never been to before, never been to Africa. Alex Aja, the director, was the first director I ever worked with who was younger than me. But he was an amazing visionary, and these guys would understand that most of the time when you're working as an actor, you rarely get the chance that someone just knows that who he wants in the cast. And he said, these are my cast members, this is my family. And that was it. And we just were straight offered that movie. And his vision for the movie was amazing. I don't know if you've seen his other movies, but
I love High Tension.
High Tension's so good. And that was a movie I watched, okay, everyone, I did, and I liked it. I liked High Tension. Yeah, he was just, believed in all of us and really thought we could go the extra mile. And for that scene, he was really concerned that we were okay while we were doing that scene. But he's like, can we go further? Can we go further? And I was like, yes, we can. And I just think he had this amazing vision to kind of bring it to the next generation of Hills Have Eyes fan and just pushed it even further. And I think that's why everyone loves it.
My favorite out of all of them, like top 5 remakes for me.
Yeah, thank you.
I just had to ask, so.
Hey, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And I guess the question I was going to ask, I like to ask this of any actors, but is there a specific movie performance or any performance that was the moment that you knew you wanted to be an actor?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Go ahead.
No comment.
All right.
Right, because you're what, 3?
Yeah, exactly. I knew from the day of conception.
Actually, I did this horror movie, funnily enough, that was my mom's friend's horror movie called Home Sweet Home. I don't know if anyone saw it. It's with Body by Jake. The guy was Body by Jake. He was a scary guy. And I remember him, I was only 4 doing this movie. This was before I actually technically started acting. But I remember him being in a hallway, coming in and having his scare moment where he was like, "Rah!" And I heard the director go, "Cut, okay, do it again." And I was thinking, why is he doing it over and over again? Oh, and then all of a sudden it came into full vision. This is a movie. Like, even though I'd been working on it before, I thought I was just playing around. Like, there's a clown in the movie. I was like, he's my best friend. And I said I loved him on screen. It wasn't written in there because I actually loved him. I literally did. I was like, had a crush on him because he did all these tricks and magic tricks, and I was smitten. But that was the moment where I was like, oh, he's actually doing something over and over again to get the right moment. And I was only 4, but I recognized in that moment, oh, this is what it's about. And I kind of knew I wanted to do it. It took me a while to convince my mom, but eventually did.
Nice. Jason?
My parents convinced me, or it was their idea really. We moved to California and it just sort of happened. But before that, I think when Nickelodeon first hit the airwaves, and I'd watch You Can't Do That on television, and I thought you had to say about, to be an actor. I didn't realize they were Canadian. I was like, oh, that looks like fun. I want to do that. I want to get slimed and do all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. And then when we moved to LA and it was presented, then I got really excited. Like, oh, I could definitely be part of this. And family ties. I've always like Michael J. Fox. I think that it's like I could do that. I could do what he did. Doc.
Perfect. All right, well, let's give one last big round of applause. Go and check them out at their tables, get some autographs, get some photos, and then when you've got $10 left, come to my table and buy a t-shirt or something. Thank you.
Thank y'all.